I'm resident of Colorado for YouTube, Jules Saints. That's my buddy Patrick McCray. We're here to review the movie The Silencers. This movie was distributed by Columbia Pictures. Release dates February 18th, 1966 in Chicago, March 16th, 1966, United States. Let's see. Production company, Midway Claude Productions Company.
What's that called?
MEAD.
Mead.
Yeah, Mead. Yeah, Meadway.
Okay.
Directed by Phil Carlson. Screenplay by Oscar Sal. Based on The Silencers by Donald Hamilton. Produced by Irving Allen. Starring Dean Martin, Stella Stevens. By the way, who is it? Robert Webber is.
I know. It's their third Robert Webber movie. It's like a festival.
He's really good in this too. I like his lines in this movie.
Robert Webber's great.
Yeah, in this movie he does. He's like funny as like this hitman. He's got the gun pointed at at Dean Martin, and it's like, is he gonna pull the? You're waiting for him to pull the trigger, and he doesn't because the cowboy, the head leader, has other plans.
Yeah.
But just you find out cowboy's a woman, which is funny. This was really entertaining start to finish. Dean Martin as a spy, and you get, I think the guy who plays his boss is the guy from the Manchurian Candidate. I think. I'm not. Yeah, let me double check that.
Yeah, that was James Gregory. Absolutely.
Yeah. Which I really was entertained by James Gregory in this, because he knows Matt Helm up and down, seems to know him pretty well. He goes, well, he has a funny way of staying in shape. I'm thinking it's Dean Martin, and then
he's doing curls with that drink.
Yeah. I love how his bed moves too into like water.
That shows up in later movies.
Oh, cool.
That shows up in at least one other film. They made 4 Matt Helm movies. This was the first of them, which is why we're watching it first. And is my understanding that Irving Allen maybe had a shot at making the Bond movies and turned it down, or somehow wound up not having access to it. So, that's a thing. So this was his opportunity to do something like that. And this was a series, this is based on a series of books by Donald Hamilton that started with Death of a Citizen, but almost all of the others were like the Silencers, the Executioners, all of that. And from what I understand, very violent. Very, very, very violent spy action novels. Nothing like the movies, which are just romps.
I do think before I get into the production stuff, because you hit a lot of spot on points there too. I do like how they handle the violence in this movie, because it does display a good tone of violence. It's not like, this isn't gore violence. The Silencers. The title fits this movie very well, because the silenced guns in this movie are very nifty.
There's a lot of fun gun film.
Sorry, which I enjoyed the hell out of. I love how they shoot the singer and performer on stage. I thought that was a bold shot sequence there. How they pulled that off. It was.
And there's a fair amount of blood in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Which I was surprised by.
Yeah, the girl with the knife in her hand, because I had seen this for the first time today, I was not expecting A, the knife, or B, for her to be shot in the back. And I'm like,
yeah,
holy shit, that happened quick. And it was so well done too. But for the production notes on this, yeah, you're right. Film producer Irvin Allen had been in partnership with Albert R. Broccoli and Warwick Productions.
Yeah, the family. brought us broccoli. Seriously, they created the hybrid.
Who released through Columbia Pictures. Uh, Broccoli wanted to buy the rights to the James Bond series of novels, but Allen was not interested. The partnership broke up. Broccoli went into partnership with Harry Saltzman and
Very
United
Saltzman.
Artists on the Bond films, who enjoyed tremendous success. Allen decided to make his own spy series. He had a copy of one of the Matt Helm novels at an airport, The Silencers, or The Death of a Citizen. I forget which. It says it forgets which one, and he opted. He got the film rights, obviously.
Yeah.
But so yeah, great points. I really love how they handle the filming of this movie, and I love how they film the car sequences in this movie. What did you think?
It's a lot of fun, especially considering how big and bulky and American
Oh,
the cars are. Matt hauling around in a station wagon and so.
And I wasn't expecting it to be like a pimped out station wagon in the sense on the inside. Very, very clever way of doing that, how they handled that situation.
I mean,
And I love,
they pride themselves on being, an American James Bond movie.
yeah, it wasn't, this is a movie I can sit back and watch, and it doesn't feel like a ripoff of James Bond. It feels like its own thing.
Yes.
And it doesn't try to have like a cue. It doesn't try to like, again, it's very American, and who better to have than Dean Martin?
Exactly.
I like how they have a Frank Sinatra song playing on it. He goes, "I'll turn that. That's no good."
He has no interest.
Yeah, which the gags in this you get, they're funny, but you're right about the violence. There's some blood in this movie, but it's not distasteful though either. It's
Yeah.
done with great camera work, and I give a lot of credit to the actors who got killed off too. They fell really well. The girl who got shot in the back, when she's close to D. Martin, she's going to stab him with a knife. The girl on stage.
Yeah.
I think the reverse revolver, the one that I love how they did the holes through the people, and it didn't look disgusting. You know what I mean? It looked really,
Yeah.
really well.
Well, they kind of covered up your hands a little bit, the squib.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked good. Yeah, for sure. I like it.
It was very successful, I think.
I'm sorry, what?
I said it was very successful in that sense.
Yeah, yeah. From an effect standpoint, they handle it really well. The one guy in the chair, it looked like he could have been in an episode of The Prisoner.
Well, that's an interesting actor. That is, I don't know if this name rings a bell. That's an actor named Victor Buono. And
Yeah.
Victor Buono was in a ton of stuff. He was King Tut on Batman.
Cool.
And and he's in Who's Afraid? The Baby Jane movie with Tom Crawford and Betty Davis, and whatever happened to Baby Jane. He's all over the place, and he died very young. I think he died in the very early 1980s, and he was only 43.
Damn.
So think of how young he was in 66.
That's crazy.
I saw him live in Dracula. He was Van Helsing in the national tour of the big revival of Dracula in the late 70s that Frank Langella had originally starred in on Broadway.
Cool. Stella Stevens is she's in this movie,
Right.
which, I mean, she is just an amazing actress in this movie, and it's fun that she gets to play sort of a role where she's like a femme fatale in a lot of ways, and she does a really good job of selling you her character. And Dean Martin plays it really well too, going off of her. Um, I think the chemistry of the cast is very underrated in this movie. What do you think, Patrick?
I agree. I think that, it's normally the Matt Helm movies are just looked at for their sheer camp value. And Jewel, I got to say, it's really refreshing to hear them legitimately appreciated, because there's stuff to legitimately appreciate. I saw these movies. The first one I saw was, I think, the second of the films, which was The Wrecking Crew. Maybe it was, no, it was Murderer's Row, which was the last one, with Anne Margaret and Carl Malden, and it's a lot of fun. It's a really good movie, and I think with one of the best spy scores ever by Lalo Schifrin, who did the theme to Mission Impossible. And I gotta tell you, it's aces. It's really, really, really good. Yeah, I mean, good stuff all around with this. I think a lot of fun. And when I first saw it, it was one of those things that I was 15 and I was pretty familiar with 60s spy culture. I had never heard of this. I had no idea what it was. I was a Rat Pack fan, and I felt like I was in heaven. I was really happy with it.
They do a really good from the chemistry standpoint, not just the male and female. They do a really good job of the way the villains interact with Dean Martin's character, because at first they're wanting him to join. Oh, if you join us. And I love how Dean Martin's character plays it straight. He plays it firm. That's not going to happen. And
Yeah.
It's, again, I think that's one of the most underrated things about this whole movie, because the production is great in this movie. The car chase sequences, how they have the winding roads.
Yeah.
And the fact that because Dean Martin isn't afraid to do stunt work, because I know in Rio Bravo he did some too. In this,
martial arts.
Oh, really?
In this movie, I think he does.
Oh, okay, yeah. In this movie, you're right. He does martial arts. Um, but he's not afraid to do his own stunts either, which I like. And you can see he does a lot of the physical work here, and really well done too. He handles it well. He does a lot of the chops really well. The fight sequences do not look corny. They look really well done and choreographed very well.
Yes.
Which is saying something, for a 60s movie, because sometimes you watch a movie that's older, it's like, yeah, that looks fake. No, this looked very, very well done. And the gags too are good. I love how they have, like, the bad guys have this, like, communication, and their symbol with the lightning bolt was very clever.
Yeah, Big O. The symbol Big O.
And it didn't, again, it did not feel like a knockoff of James Bond. It looked and felt like its own thing. And it's like, you could tell it's a serious matter, because that one blonde girl who's hitting on Dean Martin's character, she's like, oh, come on. He's like, yeah, I got to go to New Mexico or Mexico. She's like,
Jewel, well, I have to step away for just a moment, and I'm sorry. Talk about your relationship with spy films. It's a slight thing I have to take care of. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. I'll be here. Yeah, I think this movie does a really good job with its pacing. And it doesn't move at a snail's pace. It moves at a very quick, medium pace, where Dean Martin's character, for example, is him and the girl are walking through a hotel area. And they're going to their separate rooms, and the assassins are just behind Dean Martin's character's door, Matt Helm's door. And she's like, oh, come into my room. And he does. And it all happens at such a great pace, because now they can't just stay there. But one of my favorite scenes in this movie is early on. Wow, there's so many. Early on, when after the blonde-haired girl fails to stab Matt Helm because she gets shot in the back, there's another set of assassins set up outside to shoot at the car. And him and Stella Stevens' character, let me check her name, and I'm sorry, I probably butchered her name. Yeah, Stella Stevens' character. They get away, and it's done at such a quick. They're moving at such a quick pace that it's like, wow, you really have this movie. You do have to pay attention to it because it goes and it goes, and they make no apologies for it, and that's something I like too. The car chase sequences when they're doing them, I love how they don't zoom inside the car right away. When they're going along the road, you don't just get inside the car, is what I'm trying to say. You get outside of it. And the way they sort of pull back the camera and they show you these dangerous winding roads, it gives you that stakes feeling of something's going to happen here and it might not be good. And it's really well done by the camera crew of the way they shoot it. Then they go inside the car and then they communicate, hey, he's on his way, meaning Matt Helm. And now they're in this big car chase sequence where they're going to collide head to head, which he does this great job of turning to the left. It's a great scene.
Yeah, it is.
I was talking about the camera work with the cars, how they shoot the outside of the cars and they show you the dangers of the winding road.
Oh yeah.
Before they do that car chase.
In later films, they kind of play those for laughs, where they use fisheye lenses and things like that to make the car bend, and that's fun also.
You all right, buddy?
Yeah, I'm all right. I just hold a few boxes. It's okay.
Okay,
it's all good.
I love how they when they zoom inside the camera, the car, they show the bad guys looking back, and they're getting ready to set up for Matt Helm's arrival. Really well done, because you get the stake that something's going to happen, and Matt Helm's going to be in some deep shit. But give credit to Dean Martin. Dean Martin's character does a really good job. I'll tell you one of the best comedy spots is the rain spot, because it doesn't feel like it's corny at all. The woman going out in the rain, and it's gonna what's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. What's
yeah.
What's
and it's a nice tease. It's very erotic. It has that too.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of good erotic scenes in this movie that because spy movies too are about sex appeal, and this movie does a really good job of adding that here too, with the beautiful women, how exotic they are. What's some of you? I was naming some of my favorite scenes. What's some of yours?
Yeah, and the silencers. Oh, just the glorious ridiculousness of the grenades that he uses. That is just a lot of fun right there. So that's one of my favorites. I think his chemistry with the women in the film is terrific. His life as a swinging photographer is a lot of fun. That bed that goes into the bath, I think it just immortal in the best sense. So there's just a ton going on here. That this is a movie that's very easy to love. It's got a lot of fun stuff in it, and it takes itself seriously, but not too seriously, which I think is really refreshing. And this was made right after Thunderball, so the Bond mania had yet to really go full on ridiculous, which it would do with You Only Live Twice, in a great way. Ninjas and everything else. So in some ways, the Matt Helm movies, I think, were ahead of their time. This is the same year as Batman, and it has some of that same Batman flavor, I think.
I think where Bond sort of channels the Matt Helm movie a bit is You Only Live Twice a bit, because there is a bit of ridiculousness to it. The Donald Pleasance's character catching Bond just as it's like, really?
Have I ever talked about the moment, Jewel, in You Only Live Twice?
No.
That is my favorite silly Bond moment, where when Bond's in line to get in the capsule, he's got his little air conditioning unit, he's got his space suit, and did it ever occur to Bond, what am I going to do if I get in this thing and I get launched into space? I'm not trained for this. I'm trained for a lot, but I'm not trained for this.
Yeah, he's. I think he's flown jets, not spaceships. It's like really, Bond.
Yes.
Really, what are you gonna do with it? But you're right.
That's the thing. Is like, okay, now what?
Yeah, I do feel like You Only Live Twice channels Matt Helm a bit, the Matt Helm movies a bit, especially the Silencers a bit. But the Silencers does a good job. I was talking about the pacing of this movie, how it's not slow, but it's not too fast either. It has a really good tone of pace to it. Like for example, the scene where they're making their escape from the assassins outside the garage is really well paced and done at such, I really enjoyed watching this today, and I was just sitting there, I'm thinking, man, I can't believe this movie's only like a little over an hour.
Yeah, it's a short movie. It does not waste time.
No, it doesn't.
And I love that about it.
No, it doesn't waste time at all. That's the great thing about it. The time they use in this movie, the best compliment I can give a film, a cinematographer, or a director is nothing's wasted in this movie. And nothing is. I mean, they use everything. Yeah, like you said, the grenades are a bit cheesy, but it's supposed to be, yeah. It's supposed to be a gag.
I know the technology and the kind of ridiculous, but the movie knows it. The movie's in on its own joke.
Yeah, I love how I think one of the best in on your own joke too is when the girl is handing the enemies the gun that shoots in reverse.
Sure, she has a lot of fun with that. I think.
Yes. And I love how the end of this movie has one of the first post-credit scenes too.
Does it?
Yeah,
it seems like it, where they do the little preview for the next one. Well, the Bond movies had gotten into the habit of saying James Bond will return in blank, Thunderball or whatever, and so I feel like they were tweaking that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I give this movie a solid 9.5. What do you give it, Patrick?
I think that's a perfect place. Yeah, I agree. Cool. I agree. I think it has earned that very successfully.
I'll tell you the one thing I would have.
So what?
Or sorry. Yeah, we're doing a Count Patofi. We're doing a Count Patofi episode tomorrow night, if that's okay.
Excellent. Yeah, it's great.
I'll send you the episode on Facebook Messenger. But the one thing I would have loved to have seen in this movie, and I want to get your thoughts on this, I would have loved to see as a cameo, maybe Sammy Davis Jr. or something.
It would have been wonderful. The closest they come is the band Dino, Desi, and Billy.
Yeah.
Which was Dean Martin's son and Desi Arnaz Jr. and Billy, of course. I think that's in Murderers Row. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, this movie is a lot of fun, guys. If you have not seen The Silencers, I'll leave a link in the description box where you can go see it. Go check out this movie. It's a lot of fun. And it's very
enjoy it.
Yeah, it's very entertaining for sure. Is there anything you want to add, Patrick, before we go?
No, I think these are films that strangely enough really stand the test of time. They're a hell of a lot of fun. I'm glad we're looking at them.
I meant to tell you, I actually recorded the 7% Solution Sherlock Holmes movie.
You like off the air or something, or
No,
off
no,
Internet
no.
Archive?
I recorded. It was on Turner Classic Movies, and I recorded it.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I can watch it now.
It's a hard film to find, so I think you'll get a pass on that. I think that's a good use of nefarious software. So good for you.
Yeah. Well, my TV has the option to record, so I use it.
So use it, flood it, baby.
Absolutely. Link to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Daybook About is going to be in the description box. Link to The Silencers is going to be in the description box. Go pick up Patrick's book and definitely go watch this movie too. It's really fun. You guys, I think, will enjoy it.
It's a great film.
Have a good night,
I
buddy.
look forward to the rest, Joel.
Me too.
Okay, take care, sir.
Bye-bye.
Okay.